Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Jonna. This is Jonna OMG. Today I will be reviewing Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 15, Episode 18, but also Part 2 of the reunion. Y'all, we made it. This is the last one of the season. Kudos to us, really, truly. Kudos to us for making it on this boring ride because, y'all, this season I've said it before, it's been dragging. It's hasn't been good. I've heard in the blogs that there's going to be some shakeup for next season, like completely new girls. Everybody's out. I'm not sure how true that is, but guess they're going to do like a reboot like New York. I don't personally think they need to do a reboot like New York. I think that they just need to find girls that are like actually friends, so like the conflicts are not like rooted in fakeness. That's what I think. And people aren't like, alliances aren't being made. Like, to me, that just, when the show is just like, get rid of it. So we start off with y'all girl Courtney saying that Ralph was so butthurt, child, about Drew's alleged affair. Now granted, I believe the rumor. She says she does too. And the rumor about Drew being with Ty Young, I can see it being true, but Ralph been doing his dirt anyway, so I don't think he was but hurt, child. And then Courtney gonna say something that Drew has like single-handedly destroyed her kids. And I was like, girl, like, why would you say that? Like, how? How? Give us the reasons how Drew has single-handedly destroyed her kids. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, and then I'm like, Courtney, you going so rah-rah. Like, I understand he your cousin, but like, granted, y'all just met. Like, you just going so rah-rah for Ralph. And I'm like, girl, for what? Is Ralph cutting you a check on the side? Are y'all together? Y'all not really related. I could see y'all being together. It's just like she riding for him real hard. I don't know. It's strange. Then Sheree says that someone, a complete stranger, dropped off some mail at her house, and it was like some text messages between Drew and Ty, apparently. Now Andy did see him and he was passing around. Andy say that they are quite incriminating if it did get out, but we didn't see it. I didn't see it, so I can't say that. And of course, Drew just denied. I mean, really, what else she gonna do? Say, yeah, she had an affair with Ty? Well, no, she ain't gonna say that because she going through a divorce right now. So I'm not surprised that she denying it. I mean, like I said, I do believe something kind of went on. Like, I just really can see it, especially after what we know about Drew and that Toya situation. Of course, she gonna deny it. You know what I mean? She was denying. She still denied that she even kissed LaToya. So, child. But I feel like Ralph probably knew about it, to be honest. Like, because it was a video of Ralph at his birthday party. Ty was there. So I just can't see him being completely in the dark, honestly. To me, he doesn't like that lady anyway. He don't like Drew. So I don't think he pressed about anything Drew got going on. But he will use it to his advantage if in the courts, child. Because like I said, I think this divorce gonna be messy. And I think it's a way for him to control the narrative. I think he's the controlling type, so he wants to be able to put his own spin on things. Then Courtney went to like went to Ralph's dressing room. And then she was like talking ish about Drew, like Drew is a liar. I'm like, why are you saying this to this man's wife? Like, you feel very comfortable telling him that his wife is a liar. And I guess Drew's sister Allison actually heard her, and Courtney was trying to close the door on the girl. Allison was finna get riled up. She like, don't you close that door on me. Ralph was just silent the whole time. And I'm just like, yeah, Courtney, you're doing too much. You already had been doing too much when you first got on the scene, child. But now you just milking it too much. It's like, girl, you are a friend of, and you got a lot of rah-rah. Like, calm down. This is not the way, I think, to get a peach. It's not a good look for you. Pipe down. So then they start talking about bedroom candy and sex toys and blah 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 blah. So then we move on to Sonya's segment. So they brought up her miscarriage and how she was actually in New York at the time and she was alone in a taxi at that. I mean, ooh, terrible, terrible. She said that she did know it wasn't a viable pregnancy, but still just to have to go through that experience and then by yourself at that, I'm sure it was pretty traumatic. She stated that she did tell all the girls what was going on and all of them reached out, but she said she was disappointed in Kenya because Kenya never reached out to her about the miscarriage or just to check on her in general. Kenya swore up and down she called the girl and Sonya just didn't answer, but I don't know. It didn't look too convincing to me if she actually reached out to the girl. It just didn't look too convincing. Sonny was like, "What I got to lie for?" Like, I guess they had some conversations about both of them being pregnant at the same time, but can you say she called her child? But I mean, even if she didn't answer, you could have followed up with a text. Like, I don't know. So Andy asked Kenya about her potential pregnancy, like where she's at with that process. She decided that she's going to go for adoption. I think that's really admirable of her. She said she wanted to adopt, I guess, close to Brooklyn's age, like 3 or 4. Brooklyn's like 4, I think. I think Brooklyn would really love that. I did see how cute it was that Brooklyn was interacting with that little baby, like one of Kenya's baby cousins, but I think that's really admirable of Kenya wanting to adopt for sure. So I can't wait to see her new family. A new addition to the family, rather. So a viewer asked Sonya how she can ask Kenya for her help with the charity event on one side, and then on the other side, shading her relationship to Marlo and the other ladies. So Kenya says she feels like when it comes to Sonya, and this has been a difficulty in their relationship, she doesn't know how to stay neutral when it comes to things between Marlo and Kenya. Like anytime Sonya's with Marlo, she's okay with, I guess, maybe speaking down on Kenya or bashing Kenya or whatever, but I mean, she don't do that when she don't do that to Marlo when she around Kenya, so she feels like she don't know how to stay neutral. But Sonya says that she does call out Marlo when she's wrong. Like she called out Marlo when Marlo sent that video to Latoya. She told Marlo like, "Hey, you were wrong for that. It didn't need to happen. Rather, it only escalated the situation." So she feels like she does call out Marlo when she doesn't agree with things that she do. But I will say, I feel like she doesn't call out Marlo when Marlo does or shades or says negative things about Kenya. She doesn't do that. So she really was making Kenya point because okay, yeah, you called her out about the Latoya thing, but anytime you in the presence of Marlo and she's saying something about Kenya in a negative, you don't ever take up for Kenya in the same way that you take up for Marlo. So, but I mean, honestly, I think Kenya probably should get over it because Sonya and Marlo are just closer. Like that's more of her friend. So I mean, Candy takes up for Kenya sometimes, so Candy is more of Kenya's friend. So I feel like Kenya should just go over it. Like Sonya is on Marlo's side, child. So Sheree asks Candy as a viewer, child. Why doesn't she like showing her personal life? Says that she only wants to show things that paint her in a good light. And I would actually argue, to me, that seems more like Sheree. Like, I mean, she acting like everything all so peachy keen with her and Martell. Like, she's not giving us the inside scoop on that situation. But I guess Sheree was referring to, like, the shooting that happened at Candy's restaurant and child. I mean, it's a legal matter, so I can see Candy not wanting to talk about it. But I feel like Candy has showed, open up about her relationship with her mom and the ups and downs of the restaurant and stuff like that. Now, granted, she doesn't talk much about her and Todd's relationship, I must say. So I agree there. But I mean, Sheree, we don't know what's going on. She by Sheree, we not seeing all the ins and out of that. Like, you didn't really share a lot of that. and the scandals attached. You haven't shared any of that, Sheree. So I feel like there's always things that the girls leave out on the show. So anyway, so because they were on the subject about the shooting, they segued to Marlo and asked her, like, why did she wait 2 years to be upset at Candy about how she responded about Marlo's nephew that passed. She said she was triggered because she heard about the shooting. It was at Candy's restaurant. Her nephew was actually shot, so I guess it triggered her, brought up those emotions. But she basically said that she wanted Candy to do more, which I can go on record and say, since the nephew used to work there, and because of the close proximity to Marlo, and if Candy and Marlo were actually cool at the time, I think it would have been a great gesture for Candy to send flowers. I mean, if the nephew actually used to work for you, I thought it would have been good. I mean, a good look to send flowers. Regardless if he left on bad terms or not, you know Marlo, you're friends with Marlo, this is Marlo's nephew. Send the flowers. I think it would have been a good gesture. I don't say it's a requirement, but it would have been a nice gesture. But I feel like also Marlo waiting 2 years to express her concerns about that, that's why I feel it's a little misplaced. Like she's just using it as a moment to talk about the shooting more at Candy's restaurant. So, but then Candy said that maybe like a few days before the funeral, Marlo was texting her about something else, getting some money for some. So she didn't feel like, I don't know. I guess she didn't feel like Marlo and her had an issue until now. And then out of nowhere, Sonya chimes in, and I guess this is what everybody is talking about. Like the argument, Marlo and Candy were arguing or debating just fine by themselves. So Sonya really didn't need to chime in. And then Sonya and Candy had to start arguing because Sonya chimed in. So it's like, Candy was like, girl, me and you shouldn't even be arguing about Marlo right now. Like, pipe down. Like, you're inserting yourself again. Me and Marlo was doing just fine in our argument. We didn't need you to come in, Captain Save a Marlo. We did not need a Captain Save a Marlo. So in walks Ralph Pittman Jr. with a seat on the couch, by the way. I'm like, why is he getting a seat on the couch? Child, so they run a little clip of Drew and Ralph's relationship through the years and through this season, especially. After they run the clip, y'all, Drew gonna hand the man a peach. Just about screamed. First of all, this is her second fruit item. Okay, she gave Courtney the plum, and now she handing Ralph the peach. 2, I really think Ralph would want a peach. If he could, Ralph would be on Real Husbands of Atlanta, okay? He wants a peach. I think he likes to be in the spotlight, child. He wants a peach. So it was really funny to me. Hell, he was on the scene before Drew was at the start of the season. So he want to be holding that peach. I do believe it. So they said that they haven't told the kids about the divorce, which I think is a mistake, especially if they're serious about going through with it. They definitely need to go ahead and sit the kids down and tell them before other kids at the school tell them. Like, how would that be? Like, you learn from a kid at the school that your parents getting a divorce. Like, what? No, my mom and my daddy better tell me. Ooh. They need to go and tell them kids if they serious. So Andy asks if there was any infidelity. Ralph says no. Drew says no. I'm like, okay. Ralph was like, well, what about Ty? So Drew was really starting to make some sense for me, y'all. She said that Ralph went and filed for divorce after he found out that Drew was meeting with a divorce lawyer. I believe it. I feel like Ralph is very controlling. He wants the upper hand on Drew. So I always want to like one up her. So I could see him doing that. Then he quit counseling. So to me, that was a telltale sign of you don't want to make this work. So he quit going to counseling because the doctor was holding his feet to the fire. I believe it. He definitely gives off that energy that he knows best. Nobody can tell him right from wrong. I can see that. I can see it. We got eyes. And he just doesn't like to be held accountable. And he puts, I think he undermines Drew a lot. You remember, even in the clip, he was like, I respect my wife as a thespian. Like, why are you using air quotes? This is this girl actual profession. Like, why are you using air quotes when it comes to your wife being a thespian? What? Like, I don't know. So Ralph ended up telling us that it was Drew's assistant who told him about the alleged affair between her and Ty. And some of the other girls corroborated that story. Ken was like, yeah, your assistant on the movie, The Past, was going around telling people about you and Ty. Marlo said, yeah, Sheree. I was like, dang, girl. Like, that's why I said a couple episodes ago, I'm like, Drew has too many people in her house, in her environment. She got too many people that work for her. It's too many people, too many in your business. You got to keep your circle tight, especially when you on this show like this. Especially if you're gonna be out here doing dirt. um. Then Drew bring up this phone and it's like a big booty picture of somebody sent Ralph. Ralph was like, yeah, somebody sent that to me. I don't know. I'm like, Ralph, like, we don't believe you. We do not believe you because what were you doing at Tampa? They had asked him about like what he was doing in Vegas, and they were like, he was saying he was on a work trip. But forget Vegas. What about Tampa for 3 days? That's what I want to know. Drew didn't even know where you were at. Okay? She knew you were going to Vegas. Forget Vegas. I don't care nothing about that. But we still have yet to get to the real truth about Temple. So then they talk about Courtney's comment about JoJo's adoption. And this is another example of Ralph not taking up for his wife or not defending Drew in the slightest. Like, he could have said, yeah, Courtney was wrong for saying that. I never told her that. She didn't need to say those words, but instead he was like, well, I would never do adoption because JoJo father wants to be in his life and I would never take that away from another black man. And I'm just like, just because you adopt JoJo doesn't mean that his father got to stop coming around. Or am I crazy? The man can still come around to spend time with his son, can he not? But JoJo is living in your household, so I don't think the adoption means that his father has to stop being in his life. That logic is very strange to me. Am I missing something? It's something that I don't know about adoption. Does that mean that man got to stop coming around to see his son because you decided to adopt him? I'm sure that's not what it means. So your argument is lacking here. So Drew was really getting worked up. And then out of nowhere, Ralph was like, Drew, you're acting right now. And I just hollered. I actually thought she was being sincere. Now, when Candy had told her and scene in Portugal, I thought she was faking it for sure. It seemed, it was a reach. But in this moment, I thought she was actually being sincere. Ralph said the girl was acting, child. So she storms off. She was all upset, had to get the makeup retouched and everything, child. And he was just sitting there. Like, he was just, I don't know. Even Andy asked him, like, did you have any inkling of wanting to go after her? He was like, I did. Straight faced, still sitting there. I was like, boy. So Kenya was actually trying to take up for Drew. She was trying to talk to Ralph and explain how she went through a similar situation with Mark. By similar, I mean Mark and Ralph were probably the exact same person. She was trying to tell him like what support looks like. So instead of Ralph saying, oh, get over it, Drew, everybody calls you a B word, you could just say, sorry that they happened to you, babe. What can I do to help support you? Instead of like, get over it. Everybody calls you a B word. And he gonna ask Kenya, he was like, and how long were you married again? I said, ooh. So now he undermining Kenya because she was only married 2 years. But I'm just like, she like, yeah, that doesn't matter. I'm still seeing the same signs, the same type of behavior that I saw in Mark, 2 years or not. You and Mark, same person. Yeah, I just about had it with Ralph, but child, I mean, I never liked Ralph. So, but to make me have to root for Drew, Ralph, you were all time low in my book. Now I gotta root for Drew because I don't like you that much. But y'all, then the cringiest thing that I've ever seen on TV happen. Drew sings a song, a breakup song. That's what it sounded like, to Ralph about throwing their love away. And I mean, the song wasn't bad, but girl, was it cringy. I mean, and he was just sitting there straight faced. I'm just like, girl, it's time to walk away. But who signed up? Who signed on for Drew to sing this song at the end of the show? Like, who agreed to this? Like, why did she do that? Oh, it was so cringy to me. Why did she do that? I didn't like it. I just didn't like it. It was, yeah. Anyway. So let me know your thoughts about Drew's song and her singing it to Ralph on the show, child. I thought, did Andy sign up for that? Like, I need answers. Who said cue Drew in to sing her song last couple minutes of the show? Who signed on for that? Anyway, y'all, that is a wrap. We made it. Now, I am looking forward to 2 upcoming shows. Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Married to Medicine. I'm not excited about Phaedra being on the show. I don't care for her. I think she really, ever since that whole Candy situation with her lying on Candy about Portia and all that stuff, I just have not looked at Phaedra the same. It's just like, if somebody telling blatant lies like that, woo, they are dangerous. Dangerous. I don't really care for Phaedra. And to me, she's just so fake. But anyway, we'll get into it when we see your child, I guess. But that is it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. See ya.